Good morning, YouTubers. Buenos días, YouTubers. Aquí estamos otra vez de nuevo. It's Friday morning. Aquí el gallito de la sierra reportando crypto news. I do the research so that you don't have to. So they dropped me a comment and they asked, "Hey, Crypto Keeper, there's a couple of altcoins that are like 2 cents, 1 cent, under a penny. Should I buy? Should I buy those? Because that's all I can afford." And I said, well, you know, if you've done your research and you believe in that product, you're feria, carnal. You do what you like with it. But I also say that it's very important not to just focus on price. Yes, if you can only afford certain types of tokens, then that's all you can afford to buy. But it's not so much about price, because if you only focus it on price, for example, some people buy Shiba. I believe Shiba is available now on Gemini and Coinbase. I think for sure it's available on Coinbase. And you know, you could buy like $100 worth of Shiba, and it turns out to be all kinds of coins, right? And if one day Shiba Inu was worth a penny, because right now you could buy it for like 0.0000 like 7 or 8 cents or something like that. So $100 te va a comprar un puño. But you have to understand market caps, and you have to understand utility of the coin and what it aims to solve, and you have to ask those questions to yourself, because then that coin could be pretty much worthless in a couple of years. And we're discovering that this year and next year is going to be very critical times for cryptocurrency. Right now, cryptocurrency is bleeding. A lot of these altcoins are not really moving anywhere, and so people are getting anxious. So let's talk about AMP Crypto, which uses the Flexa network to enable it to collateralize payments, right? So AMP. If you look back at AMP in February and prior to February, if you got into AMP when it was like 0.0003, so it's 0.0003 or 0.003 cents. If you got into AMP then and you bought like $1,000, you bought, or even $100, it turned into all kinds of coins, right? Because you take your total amount divided by the total price, and it gives you the total amount owned, the total amount coins that you've accumulated. Well, if you got in during that time, which was last year, December, I think it was like not even that long ago, like December of 2020 or November of 2020. If you got in during that time, back in like March, the price already had gone up to like 0.01 cents, 0.02 cents. So those individuals that bought AMP at that time, when AMP really was trying to make partnerships and development and all of that right early on. But the white paper is always the best information you can read and research, and ask yourself, is this going to be a game changer? Is this going to be something that is needed, right? Shiba Inu, it's really not needed. It really doesn't solve anything. So, that's the test I use. I use that test to ask myself, what is it What is it going to do? What does it aim to solve? And will mainstream society need it, right? And those kinds of questions really help anyone for anything make a better decision about your investment. So when I asked those questions about AMP, when I got in, I felt very comfortable. I felt very comfortable about this crypto. And at that point, yo decidí darle para adentro, darle fuerte, éntrale. Y le entré porque tengo confianza que AMP va a ser uno de esos cryptocurrencies que en el futuro van a tener que adoptar si quieren que se use cripto como dinero para pagar para servicios. Well, look at like AMC, right? One of the largest theater companies in the nation. They recently posted that they're gonna accept Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum as a form of payment. And I've been talking about this in my other videos, and they're gonna use the AMP token in order to allow for those payments to transact. So there you go. There you go. If they didn't have AMP to collateralize those payments, they wouldn't be able to accept Litecoin. They have to use AMP in order to accept these kinds of payments. And so right now, AMP, it's really not a hot cryptocurrency. No one's really talking about it. No one's really sharing the news, if you will. And that's a good thing, because pretty soon, when more companies jump on and more companies begin to use AMP, and like AMP is being used in El Salvador, and the more trust that the community has that yes, this token works, and this token does what it's supposed to do, and this token is safe, and this token is error-free, and it works the way it's supposed to work, and it's perfect in every way, then you're going to start hearing the news about AMP, and then you're going to see the price of AMP begin to go up. And it's usually during those times when the price starts to have some type of significant movement that everybody starts jumping on. But it's when things are very quiet about a very good product that I pay a lot of attention, because that's when I want to get in. Because I know that it doesn't last forever like that. Now, where is AMP now? This morning, like I do every morning when I get up, I read a little bit of Biblia, and I get into my word, and dejo que el Espíritu Santo trabaje dentro mí. And then I instead of having a cup of coffee, I use those extra minutes to read into the market before I jump into the shower, before I get ready, before I head off to work. So I was really looking a little deeper into AMP, and I was looking at the historical movements, price movements, and looking at a little bit of charts. And it's very interesting when AMP around February, I think it was like March, it started to increase in price, and it went to like 6 cents, and then it dropped, and then it went all the way up to 12 cents, and then it dropped. And of course, that was around the end of May 2021. AMP was like at 12 cents because some news had came out, y de repente cayó. And that's where we're at now. It fell down to like 6 cents, and then it's been hovering between 4 cents and 6 cents for quite some time, since May. I mean, since June. And I tell people, well, think about it. is it a good time? Ask yourself, is it a good time for me to buy AMP? And, when it was at 6 cents, I was like, nah, I'm going to wait, even if I miss it. And here's the psychological game that I was talking about the other day. Sometimes I feel that when the price just drops a bit, like, for example, right now, AMP, it went from 6 cents like a month ago. It was right around 6 cents and, high 5 cents. Then it dropped to mid 5 cents. And then it dropped to 5 cents. And when it dropped to 5 cents, I bought. Right? 1 penny difference, I bought. Right now, it's sitting at 0.4805, I think. And yesterday it was 0.490 or 0.4905, something like that, right? These little price changes in the market, as insignificant as it might seem to an investor, it's very significant to small-time investors like you and I. Those little price changes can add up to thousands of dollars down the road. So you got to think about it like that. Like, for example, today, I wish I was behind a computer so that I can show you when I make a move and I buy. So when I buy between, my minimum purchases are $500. And I do that as a dollar cost average. And I'll talk a little bit more about that at a later video. But for those of you who don't know what dollar cost average is, very simple. You watch the market. When the market dips and you have a little extra cash, then you buy the dip. And if you buy the dip over and over and over and over through the course of years, your dollar cost averaging your total portfolio or your total investment. So at the end of 2 years, if I bought crypto, a total amount of crypto, let's say AMP, let's use AMP for an example. If at the end of 2 years I had accumulated a total investment of $10,000, or not accumulated, sorry. If I had invested a total of $10,000 by dollar cost averaging, I would take all of my purchase amounts, all of my investments, all the times that I put in 500, 1,000, 200, $50, all of those purchases, I would add all of those up and I would divide that. Right? You would divide that total amount to get to a total amount of what your total purchase price was for that AMP token, because you're buying it at different prices. And so, if you took $2,000 and bought AMP at 6 cents, and then you took $2,000 and bought AMP at 5 cents, you'd arrive at 5.50, right? 5.5. So that's what I mean, is that if AMP in 2 years is 12 cents, and you got in when AMP was down to, you got in when AMP was at 12 cents, and you waited for AMP to get to 30 cents, and you never bought until you waited, well, you lost out on a lot of opportunity to make more money. Now, it is a little difficult to jump in when you've invested 12 cents and it's at 4 cents, and you beat yourself up because you're feeling like crap because your investment is negative, and you feel like, well, the heck with this. As soon as it goes back up, I'm gonna get out. A lot of people do that. And remember, you don't lose anything until you sell. That's it. That's what it boils down to, is you don't lose until you sell, or you don't win until you sell, right? I hear people say, oh my goodness, I did great. I invested $1,000 and now I made $7,000, and it's sitting in their crypto, right? And then all of a sudden, a month later, the crypto goes to half of that value, and they're like, oh man, I should have sold. I was upset. See, that's what I mean. It's a psychological game. You haven't made anything. My crypto portfolio that's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, it's meaningless. It doesn't mean anything because I haven't realized any of those gains. I haven't made anything. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Right now, I've invested, and I'm negative in terms of, well, I shouldn't say negative, that's the wrong word. I've invested, whatever I've invested, and I'm out that money. That's how I should have said it. I'm out that money, right? I don't have that money available. It's gone. It's invested. But I'm not, several $100,000 like, oh yeah, I made several hundred. No, I haven't made anything. It's there. And if I sell it by the push of a button today, I'll realize it. Then I can come back and say, hey man, look, listen, I got into crypto 2-3 years ago, and I just want to share what all those profits are, right? That's where I can share the profits when I've realized the gain, paid the taxes, and boom, I'm sharing with you a video of how much Fetty I've made. Well, that's not the case. And the reason why that's not the case is because I'm not ready for that. I'm in it for the long term. And I've talked about what the long term means. So back to AMP. Is it a good time for you to look into AMP and buy? Well, it's really going to be your decision. I had one person ask me, hey, Angel, I'm looking at AMP and it's this much cents, and I only got, honestly, this person said, you can go look at my comments and find it. Said I only got $2. Hey, you know what? And I encouraged that person. I said, you know what? I got compas. I just got $10 a month, and every month they're just finding a few coins that they can, dabble with the crypto market a little bit. That's all good, man. If you got $2 and that's all you got, échale pa adelante, brother. More power to you, because you're going to be the kind of person that, if you got $2 every week, or $2 every month, or $2 just this time, hey, that's what it takes. When I started, I didn't start with thousands. I started with a couple $100, because that's all I had left over. So yeah, if you got $2 and you feel like AMP is a good buy for you, $2 is going to get you a decent amount of AMP. Now, the more you put in, the more you can gain in the long run, right? So what am I gonna do? Well, I really feel AMP, based off what I'm watching in terms of the market, I think the market's gonna correct a little bit more. Right now, there's just so much going on with the government. There's unclarity. There's uncertainty. We don't know what they're gonna push out. The taxes and the regulation is a big issue right now in cryptocurrency. And until that gets worked out and is in favor of crypto, the markets are not going to jump. But I can tell you that it's okay. That's the risk I'm willing to take. And that I'm going to use in favor of my investment. Because if things were all cherry right now, right? And the government was like, hey, yeah, we're going to just make it to where people with AMP could, not with AMP, I'm sorry. Crypto owners can enjoy the liberties of crypto with some regulation just to keep everybody safe. I guarantee you, man, crypto is going to skyrocket, because that's what we're all waiting for. We're all waiting for the news of whether or not crypto is, if crypto holders are going to either have it very difficult in America, or they're going to have it fair in America, right? Because all we're looking for is fairness. And you know how that goes. When you talk about money, well, things ain't always all that fair. But AMP, I'm willing to take a risk on. And AMP right now trading at 4.48 something cents is probably a very good time for me to jump in. Now, I'm going to wait a little bit. I hope I don't miss it. I don't need to buy more AMP, but I want to get in when I know I can realize massive gains. And so right now, the time has come where I have an extra $500 to invest. And sometimes I take those $500 and I put them in Cardano, or I'll put them in Litecoin, or I'll put them in Polymatic. And I'm a little bit more focused on AMP, only because AMP when all these altcoins were, like Cardano was at $1.40, $1.38, more or less around there. AMP was at 6 cents. And Cardano now is trading at $2.50, right? $1 more than what it was back when it was trading at $1.40. And AMP is still trading under, not over that same threshold. It didn't have a move like some of the many other altcoins had a move. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm okay with that, because that's why I have my eyes on AMP, because AMP hasn't really moved. And that's what creates the anxiety. That's what creates the game, papa. That's the psychological game I'm talking about, where people get desperate, people get anxious. They see, oh no, this is a crap coin, look, it's not even moving when everything else is moving. Instead, it's moving to the downside. Why? And they feel like, that's it, I'm done. And they either take a loss, or they don't invest more in it, and they're just waiting around to see if maybe they can pull their money out. And so AMP is going to do that. And AMP is going to do that probably for the first 4 or 5 moves to the upside. What do I mean by that? Here's what I mean. If you buy now and you hold for the long run, I'm talking 2 years. Because when AMP gets to 7 cents, people are going to sell. Especially those that bought like at 6 cents. Because they see right now that the market of AMP is just no good. It's not moving anywhere. It's not moving at the speed of some of these other cryptos. And people get used to that sort of psychological effect that they want things to move quick, and they don't. And so then they get kind of like shaky about their money invested in a cryptocurrency such as AMP. So I'm just trying to encourage you, but I'm trying to give you some information that will help you, so that we together in 2 years from now, we'll look back and we'll say, remember when AMP went to 7 cents, to 10 cents, don't sell, don't worry. For those of you who bought at 12 cents, don't worry. AMP is going to jump, and it's going to get to 25 cents. Easy. It's at a $2 billion market cap. $2 billion right now in crypto, you're a baby. And so, meaning your market cap is very low compared to all the other cryptocurrencies that have a large market cap, that have a large following, that have a large investment in them. And so, look at Cardano with $89 billion market cap, and it's trading at $2.50. Personally, I think it's way undervalued. But that's okay. That's what crypto does. So think about it. Cardano, $80 billion market cap. AMP, $2 billion market cap. Big difference, right? If AMP became, which it will, a $10 billion market cap coin, man, think of where it'll be. It'll be in the 40 to 60 cent range. Is $10 billion realistic for AMP token? Absolutely. 10 billion is nothing. So that's how I look at it. It will get adopted. Investors, whales, and even corporations will buy this token, just not yet. And when they do, you're going to see this token just skyrocket. Could AMP ever be worth $1? Absolutely. So think about it. If you bought $5,000 from now to whenever at 5 cents, 6 cents, 10 cents, 12 cents, and you stopped, and at that point you just waited, and it got to $1 5 years from now, well, do your math. That is a big gain. Big, huge gain, right? If you own 100,000 tokens, with $5,000, it's possible. A little over 100,000 tokens, that's $100,000 at $1. 100,000 at $1. That's huge, man. I don't know where else with $5,000 you could make 100,000 in 5 years. I don't know anywhere that you could make that kind of money, right? And you could sell it at $1, realize your 100,000, pay your taxes, and you're still up, 80,000. You're still up 80 grand from your initial investment. So your return on investment is, and then you can calculate the percentage, those gains, whatever 8, 9, 10,000% gain on your money. I don't know anywhere else other than crypto that individuals can reap those kinds of rewards. So that's why I'm in crypto. That's why I believe in crypto, and that's why I will never leave crypto. I'm creating generational wealth, carnal, for my kids, and I'm teaching them all about crypto. And one day when I'm gone, this is going to be their world that they're going to live in, and this is going to be mainstream, something that they're going to use on an ongoing basis 24/7. And guess what? My kids are going to be way ahead of the game. And not only that, I'm going to try to leave something for them. And that's what it's about, creating generational wealth so that my family name lives on as a name that is important and as a name that my kids could be proud of. My family name, the last name, Galvez. Thank you. Ahí estamos. Ahí los dejo. Hope this was helpful. Cuídense. Be careful. Remember, I am not a genie. I don't have a crystal ball. I cannot predict all of these things of where they will be. All I can do is do the research. All I can share with you is how I feel based on that research. And you could take my information however you like. But I appreciate you. I hope you make the right decisions. And ahí nos vemos. Aquí el gallito reportando. AKA Crypto Keeper. Take care. And like always, kikiriki.